I can't believe you're going a little bit grey. I'm really
See
going.
that? I know. Look, it's like.
Just a tiny, it's a little bit there. That's the same as mine, but then you've got a tiny little bit more.
Evidently, I've got like this
just
bit
a tiny
here.
there.
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's
Supposedly, I had
fine.
one,
It's the first time I've known it.
but no one could point it out to me, so I haven't seen it.
So I'm going grey in Z-type. I'm going to be like, is this a grey old man? All of a sudden, some scenes I've just got like grey hair.
Totally.
But that's the early stuff we shoot.
It is. It's true. It's true.
Welcome everyone to Creative Chats at the Hub. I'm Chris.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Dan.
And wait. And this is Chaz.
Chaz. Yeah, he keeps us company. We got him from Outer Earth, and what a great Zegway. We're going to talk a lot of things movies.
What? Is it something you're right on? Is it Zegway? Perfect. We're talking about Zegway.
So, as we all know, Fox was acquired by Disney.
Yes.
When did that happen? 2019, was it?
Well,
No, hold on. It was before Star Wars' new movie, so it was a while ago.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is it makes a lot of interesting Disney princesses. For instance, the alien queen.
Yeah, is now technically
a Disney
queen. So that makes aliens a Disney princesses.
Yeah, there you go. So that's interesting.
There's a good segue.
That's great.
I like how you mount it.
I was freaking out.
So they've announced that there is a new Predator movie underway. No one knows fully what's going on. It's all under wraps.
What's your thoughts?
I enjoy Predator movies, so I'm keen for them to give it a go.
I like Predator, but their later movies, for me, have kind of gone downhill and crashed and burned quite dramatically.
I had high hopes for that last one too.
What rumours are there about this film?
Rumour has it that it's a prequel. It's set quite early on. Some say it's actually going to follow an Indian lady. That's all they've said.
So, I just recently watched Predator 2, and we can talk about that a bit later. But one thing that I was excited by was at the end of that. I mean, we all talk about that was the first time they introduced the alien skull in the ship.
Yes.
Which then obviously became Alien vs Predator, which was very exciting. That was where the crossover happened. But and Predator gave our hero, he gave him the flintlock gun.
Yeah.
And so it would be super interesting if they actually jump back to that
and had a nod back to that, where the first flintlock crossed hands to that Predator. I agree. I think that would be phenomenal. And they've already given that setup to make a story, so you don't need to go off and create some super Predator.
It makes the director of the second one the most genius guy ever, if that's the case. Because that spawned Alien vs Predator, all those sort of.
Now it's been a while since I've watched number 2, but did he have like a handgun with like this rocket launcher on top, or was it like a laser?
No, it was a giant scope.
Oh, was it? In my memory, it's like a rocket launcher on top.
He's got the revolver and it's got the giant scope on the top.
Yeah, I know that
he had a gun since I watched it.
I forgot
1997.
I forgot how violent that film was.
It's much more violent than number 1.
Yeah.
Like, number 1's violent, but not this kind of violent. Like, it's a little more. I feel like number 1 would be MA, that was R.
Yeah.
Australian standards.
Australian standards. For the Americans,
and then
PG, and no, because their PG is our M.
No, it's
and
actually,
then M.
Their R is our MA.
Okay, that way, whatever.
Yeah,
so
XXX
for you guys. It did have a lot of nudity in it.
Oh,
it did.
Hard R anyway.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even know. That'd be interesting to know. Like, obviously, we're
what
not
was
American.
it rated?
What was your rating over there? But
hold on. So what? Let's go with. Let's open this conversation a little bit more. We know that there's Predator 1, Predator 2, AVP 1, AVP 2, Predators, and The Predator. There's that
full
many
complete
movies.
disclosure, have not seen The Predator, and that was based on the fact that you
You're not
guys
missing
both
much.
told me that it was rubbish.
Here's my movie review. That sucks.
Well, that was why I didn't see it. So
There was some cool little moments though.
Yeah,
like where
in
you're
the
like, that's
first-
cool.
Spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of spoiler alerts.
So tell me why it sucked, because when I think about AVP, the first one, I really liked that. However, I felt
I had
like
some thoughts.
I felt like it should have been MA, and we'll maybe touch on that in a little while. But AVP2 really suffered from like that whole campy sort of. It was set in modern day, but it was sort of that like Nightmare on Elm Street. No, that's probably the wrong term. But it was sort of like that serial killer vibe, like
but it was
Suburban.
also shot very dark and very gritty.
It just was nothing captivating about it.
Also, I believe they used puppets, aliens, instead of a guy in a suit for that one.
Well, interestingly, they used puppets on Alien 3 as well. They were all hand puppeted and comped in. Yeah,
Because that was a dog predator in that one.
yes, and so to make them skinny and be able to move quickly, they were actually puppeted. I watched it just the other day, and I was like blown away by that comping and that way they did that.
Do you like Alien 3? That's the one that everyone says let the whole series down, and then some people have been going to say number 4 really bombs. I actually like
love
it.
number 4.
I don't know whether it's just our age.
Resurrection?
Yeah,
I loved that.
Oh
That's
man,
great.
the characters, like the
The
character
guy with a double hand.
Totally, I think that the character design and all the design of the ships and stuff. So whoever did all the I can't think it.
All the sets, all the
Set design, all that
the
sort of
world built, like the development in that
What is that
one
role
was
called? What is that role? Who is that person on the set designer? The set
styling-
designer.
set designer and
And the
stylistic
costumes.
choices.
I thought they killed it on Alien Resurrection. It's my favourite by far. Like those
And we
scenes
got to
with
see
the
him
water,
underwater, yeah.
that was
It
epic.
was just a fun movie. Like it's more action based than scary.
Totally.
Number one, you had all the suspense and stuff like that because you didn't know what was coming. You didn't know what the aliens was. Very suspenseful in that way of the unknown. You already know what the aliens are now, so you got more of the action of it and things like that. And I loved that.
Yeah, I really did as well.
Yeah, Alien 4 I think was what we kind of wanted to see, my impression of just carnage on a ship.
Yeah.
And multiple, like just running that whole battle like a bunch of ragtags, getting in there and having a go.
This isn't an alien This isn't an alien.
No,
so-
but but again,
feel
I
like-
dare say we're going to see another one. However, Ridley Scott has got control over that now, which is why we saw Prometheus into Alien Covenant.
I don't know how I feel about
Alien Covenant was not supposed to be alien, from what I've heard, but there was going to be an Alien 5 made, and to keep the rights with Ridley said, no, I'm going to make a Prometheus 2, which will now be Alien Covenant, and designed it more that way.
Okay.
And that movie was not great because it did the fingering.
yeah, I didn't really like it.
I haven't seen it.
No, it's not great. It had some cool aspects in it.
The first one
but
bored me so much that I
Prometheus,
couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Prometheus is just a different movie. I don't think it should have been a nod to, like they tried to do that whole Cloverfield thing where they kind of went, oh, by the way, it's in the same universe. Right at the end, especially with the other nods, like obviously you see the same ship and those kind of things that you see within the first movie. But
I mean, elements of me was excited to see where the aliens came from, but was it a great solution for it, or is it one of those things, the Star Wars itis, where sometimes you don't tell us?
We probably didn't really need to know. I reckon.
don't tell us.
Like it kind of just like neither here nor there.
But swinging back on the Predator, so Predator did the opposite. Rather than going and giving this more of an example of where they're going, come from, they went, how about we go where they're going? And made Super Predators a thing twice.
Was that so? The Predator? Give me a quick.
Okay,
synopsis.
so you've seen the Predators.
Predators, yes.
With the idea of
Two tribes sort of
yeah,
things and
but
stuff like that.
like you've got the more super version. So this movie, the Predator, there was a crash landing, same kind of typical, where at the start you see actually a dogfight happening in space. One gets hit, jumps through a wormhole, crashes, and that's a standard Predator. The one that we love from the original kind of movies.
Which looked cool.
Yeah, it gets captured by humans, and then breaks
Set
out.
modern day, set future, set...
Now.
Set now time.
Now.
Okay.
So it follows a military guy that he finds a crash, finds some of the tech, swallows some of the tech. Anyway, long story short, the Super Predator turns up, kills Predator super quick, making it feel like it was a dumb, useless thing. But before that, they also turned original Predator into very much a joke. Like he was like holding a dead guy's arm, held it out with a thumbs up, those kind of things. Like it's like
so the big gimmicky.
Rather
It
than
was
actually
cool at first when he first woke up. I loved that scene though when he like
when he went
slaughters everyone in
badass.
there. Man, that was cool. I'm like, man, this is cool. But the thing,
But rather than communicating with them and saying, "Hey, I'm here to help," he goes on a massive carnage spree,
Because
and
at the
then it turns
end-
out he was there to help.
so at
humanity.
the end, they find this predator suit that can suit humans.
Oh yeah, the end scene is Iron Man suit, Predator suit,
Predator
and it even
style.
has like this Predator face in red. It's the most
and that's what he
atrocious.
brought down. But instead of him going, "I'm here for humanity," he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna kill you all and just go on his killing spree. Not tell you this. And
Did they explain why he went on a killing spree?
No.
So it was just really.
But they never actually ever said also that he was there to help humanity, other than dialogue that was written.
So
to be
please
like,
tell me there's a pitch meeting for this film.
I think so. I
So
think
pitch
it-
meeting is Ryan.
yeah, another YouTube, Ryan George, an amazing
You need
show.
to get on that.
Yeah.
It's
You
quite
can
funny.
find it. It's I can't remember
It's
the
on
actual
Screen
channel.
Rant.
Screen Rant,
is the
which
actual
is an
channel.
okay show. There's some cool stuff on there.
But pitch
but
meeting is absolutely
Pitch Meeting-
unbelievable.
Pitch
I
meeting
need to
is
see it
like-
because it sounds like it's like what the executive does when he's just like, no, we need to change the ending. You know, it needs to
Yeah,
be something.
well,
like,
it was one of those because they actually shot this whole battle also in the daytime, and they turn around. I don't know who made the call, whether or not it was Shane Black. Shane Black directed it. He also wrote it.
Could have been the machine though that killed it. Like,
No, I'm pretty. There's a lot that he's come
There-
out and
there's-
said a lot as well that it was on him.
Okay.
But they basically went, oh, we don't like this, and they went and did a bunch of reshoots at night and made this real CG weird battle. It didn't work. It was
remember that.
they lobotomized a predator dog who also had dreadies,
Oh yeah, the predator dogs.
and it became then a human ally
yeah, I know.
who played fetch.
okay, it sounds weird.
So my biggest thing with this movie is the actual characters. There was too many human characters.
Yeah.
That all try to have these stupid personalities.
Oh, the
so
over
generic.
exaggerated.
Yeah, and you don't care about any of them, and you hope that they all die, including the main character. And so you don't care about none of them. And that little kid, like,
Well, what did he have? He was
he was like so smart
Autism?
because he was on the spectrum.
he had autism.
Yeah, and so then he's able to like use the predator stuff.
Yeah, was able to read and understand predator information straight away.
But you just don't care about any of the characters.
Barely
Like
an inconvenience.
in number one, like you know, you cared about the characters,
Yeah.
and it was an impact when each one of them died.
Well, I wanted to hit on that. I think the success of number one, I'm really glad that you swung it over that way. The success of number one was the characters.
yeah,
Like it was the Jaws thing. Like you didn't see the predator for 90% of the film,
which
and
there's interesting reasons as to why, but yeah.
yeah, there is very interesting. But I think that was really successful again.
Yes.
And thank God they changed it from the original Jean-Claude Van Damme design.
So for those that want to know, Jean-Claude
Just look
Van
it up.
Damme was supposed to be the bad guy.
And just have a look at
a lot
the design.
shorter, looked like a bug.
a bit like a crab thing.
Yeah. it was
Yeah,
weird.
lots of it, but look it up. The story's online. We don't need to say it.
Anyway, that's super. But I think the interesting thing was like the comradeship, the rivalry between Dolph Lundgren and Arnold Schwarzenegger and all those. It was Dolph in it.
You,
No, no,
you
it
had,
was,
you had that
It wasn't
comradeship.
Dolph. It was the
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
There was a bit of tension
Sorry,
there.
was Dolph in?
Dolph is in none of them.
No, he's in Expendables.
He's in
That's
Expendables,
where it was.
yes.
Okay, so I knew that there was a moment where they were talking about it and stuff like that. I think that was super interesting with the characters. I think that movie worked because of the characters
Yeah,
and the
you
fact that they had a very legitimate reason for being in the
Yeah.
jungle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just things went wrong.
But they didn't they didn't overplay the characters. They were just standard style military guys. You automatically caught on to what they were. They didn't overplay it. Like in The Predator, there was a guy with Tourette's, and they heavily overplayed it. Then you had the Jester, who was constantly.
Are you talking about Predators?
No, the Predator.
Okay, the new one.
Oh, I feel like they
yeah,
did
yeah,
the same in Predators.
Heaps. Like,
It was
they made a lot of
stereotypes.
dumb mistakes in both. I think the biggest thing actually for me in Predators was casting. I just think the cast was.
Yeah, you had a real problem with
It was a bit of a
the
forgettable
main,
movie.
the bad guy that
all
went-
of them though. Actually, I didn't mind the girl, but I didn't buy most of the characters other than the machete actor. What's his name?
Yeah, the guy that played Machete. Okay,
I
can't even remember that movie.
One of the guys ends up Topher Grace, who played.
I didn't like
70s
his
show.
cast. Yeah, I
70s
didn't like
show
his cast.
was all of a sudden a bad guy, and I was like,
serial killer.
yeah.
I didn't buy it.
I don't buy that. I
Yeah.
don't buy any of it. The setup for it was terrible.
No, that was the word. That I don't
At that
don't
stage-
remember much, but that setup was crap.
At that stage, I hadn't seen the 70s show either. I've since watched it, but
It makes it even harder to stomach it.
but like it's just something about like the authenticity of him being that, like he didn't have that seediness or that twistedness. Where in Prometheus, the android in that definitely has that twisted. Like you're always uncomfortable when he's
Michael
around.
Fassbender though is an amazing actor.
But that's what I'm saying, like,
they
so
cast, yeah,
Totally, but
They-
that's
they
what I'm
cast
saying.
it right,
they
so-
needed that kind of thing for that
Yeah.
character where you're just like, oh, something does feel uneasy about the character,
Yeah.
but just springing it on you that, oh, I'm a serial killer, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's really weird.
Oh, by the way, I'm a serial killer.
Yeah, just weird.
And that's literally how it kind of happened.
Yeah,
It
it was
literally was just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a serial killer. Why all these predators are hunting? I'm gonna paralyze you and eat. I'm guessing kill. I think he was just a killer.
Oh, I don't even know.
But it's like literally just this moment. It's like,
it was weird. Just
Yeah, I
go
know.
back and watch it.
I'm
and
gonna
you
have
just
to watch it
remember-
again.
you
It's
no,
just-
don't give him the stream. I'll give you the DVD. So you just-
Don't give him any more money. Well, I mean, that's not really fair. But hey, I just wanted to ask then, what do you think was? Do you think it was a movie for that era of like the '90s sort of blockbuster thing? Or do you-
Potentially,
Sorry,
because
the new one.
I'm just the
Oh,
the franchise in general.
Okay,
the franchise
so
in general.
What they did with, I feel like the franchise is moved it too much to our days, and I feel like Terminator is another example of this, where Judgment Day was an amazing movie because it's this thriller ride of survival that just happens to have a couple of shootouts to try and stop this enemy that's non-stop coming. It's just always at your toes. Same as Jaws in the sense that it's always at your toes. However, in Jaws you don't see it, Predator you don't see it, in Terminator you do. The threat is always there. Where in the later movies, it's an action movie that happens to be in Terminator world, an action movie that happens to have a Predator. I'm sick of action movies with Predator bolted in. Make a Predator movie.
But I feel like the first one was an action film with Predator.
Yeah, but that's
bolted in like that, and that was a success.
No,
of
it
So
became
what
a
do you-
survival story. It wasn't an action movie. It became a survival. We have to survive. They were trying to get out of there.
It felt like a
They
survival
weren't-
thing.
The only reason they made a stand is because they got they got wiped out, and they went, we have to make a stand now. And even then, the action sequence, the biggest shoot 'em up moment is at the start when it's human on human, or when they're shooting the bush.
So an interesting thing is both the first and the second film are about trying to discover what this thing is, taking out people.
Yeah.
Okay. So both of them are a mystery film. Number one, they've got no idea. They're like they are blaming the natives.
There's a lot of reports that the natives are skinny people
and all that sort of thing. So they're blaming that, but then it's like how on earth? Like this guy is like 250, pound guy. How
And I
on
love
earth?
that they used the tracker guy to really bring that home. He's like, I've never seen this kind of thing. I don't know what's going on. And he really drives that whole this is not of this world more and more as his character becomes scared, more and more scared.
Totally, and we don't see the character. We just see these effects that we've never
Silhouettes
seen, and
and-
like this
yeah.
sort of translucency. Like we as the
And the
audience,
sound
and the
as well.
sounds like
All the clicking.
sound.
and the fum, and
I love
as it goes into the infrared mode.
yeah. So much iconicness within that.
It really is. And so the first one really plays on that. We as the audience don't know. It's like and then it really pays off with a great design. So like it really is successful with a great performance from Arnie. By that stage, Arnie's a real star as well. And so
Yeah,
I love
actually,
Arnie
I'm pretty
movies.
sure when he was making that, he wasn't as big a star and blew up
because of that. So Arnie is such a personality, and so like already he's a formidable guy. Like you see these massive men who are real formidable, and then you've got something that's kicking his butt.
Yeah, well that's it. Like they're the toughest guys ever.
And you didn't feel that with the Predators, the new one. Is that like is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Anyway,
the
new
Predator.
one, the Predator. the guy, the main character was like an army man, yes, but not like Arnie. Like it was just pretty much. But not that far, but
the Predator wasn't really a threat to them until right at the end. Anyway, there was no picking it off. It was just these Predators doing stuff all around them.
In the bus, yes. Predator doing stuff all around them, but not actually affecting them. And when it affected them, you didn't care about them anyway. It's like, yeah, good, I'm glad.
So the stakes were low. The stakes were low.
Dead or whatever.
There was a lot of rubbish choices, considering the hype for the movie.
So
again,
then
Shane Black from like the first movie.
So let's look at then number 2. So number 2, which I recently watched, it was again. So you've got these gang wars going on, and it's really taking over the city and really affecting the city.
Yeah,
and then all of it,
out, like having a fight in the daytime and everything, like shoot ups.
And then all of a sudden, major players from one of the gangs are destroyed. In a way that is just really violent and really out there. Again, it's just like who would do this? Who could do this?
Violence are happening,
and who could do this? And so you've got these police investigating. They're trying to stop the crime, and then they walk. Who's done this already? So then they're blaming another faction,
other gangs. There's a lot of
and then the other gang get taken out in a really violent way again. And so then you're going, what could be doing this? And so again, even though we know what it is being the Predator, we don't see the Predator much. We still don't see the Predator much.
So you still feel that bit of...
You still feel that, like, who is this one?
And stuff.
Yeah, but it's also, like, every time it had an interaction, it was brutal, it was fast, there was no stopping it. It was over before it. Like, even one of the policemen goes head-to-head and dies. Like, everyone dies up until the end. Even
so you really feel
even the FBI that go after him at the end. Remember, they play the trick where they put all the ice in there to hide the sensors and that, and he just goes swap, swap, swap. Oh, there they are, and just I love the scene where he throws the thing through and it cuts the body in half and all the blood falls out, but the body doesn't fall down. It's just like all of a sudden a bucket of blood and guts, but there's no body falling.
You gotta love those 90s effects, mate.
It would have made sense if he was holding on to something and just
defying gravity.
Gary Busey's son, was then in The Predator.
Okay.
Which was a bit of a nod as well. So.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on the crossover AVP? Let's not talk about AVP 2. That was just...
I think you nailed it in just basically saying it should have been...
The stakes weren't high enough?
It should have been more violent, for starters.
I'm not one to suggest that things should be more violent.
But Predator is a violent movie. It's the same as Expendables 3 didn't work because it was a PG movie instead of the original action movies Expendables 1 and 2
stakes weren't high enough or something?
No, it's like, what movie... Okay, so John Wick, if all of a sudden it wasn't a shoot-'em-up movie, you're not watching John Wick.
Yeah.
So when you watch a Predator movie who's violent, it's like, again, it's like violent, it's brutal, like it stabs. It's like everything you see about him is that brutal strength. Nothing you can do. Everything was off camera and all that. Now, again, I'm not asking for gore and violence. It's just that's what Predator is.
You need that bit more intenseness.
Predator
because that's
is
what he is. He's a brutal
So
killer.
it would help it automatically. Now, I like the story arc of these are ones that have got to earn their stripes. I didn't mind that. Wasn't the biggest fan of the team up between her and the Predator. I just I don't feel like in any other one they've ever made note of Predators caring other than just... Okay, I'll fight you then.
I think that, I didn't mind it because it sort of, to me, hit on it hit on a little bit of the ethos of the, what they're there to do, that they are a proud race, but they're not there to be murderers. That they are there to either hunt, that it's either a sport or it's there to earn your stripes. So I didn't mind that in some way. And granted, they were up against the alien queen at that stage. So it was sort of, was that where the enemy of my enemy is my ally? Is that where that came from? Is that
kind of? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it again. I watched that over a lot of the other ones. I actually watched that more than I watched Predator 2. I watched it a lot and all that. I think if it was a more violent movie, I just would have appreciated it in general. For me, also, again, the same issues as some of the other ones. I wasn't the biggest fan of the cast. And that's just purely me. Some people might have liked it. I feel like it just wasn't quite my... And there's nothing against the actors and actresses in that movie. I think they did a great job for what they did. But I don't know. I could be that I'm also just doing the whole Star Wars thing in my head. I've got a picture now, and I can't shake it. And I think that's what's happening with Star Wars. Is we grew up with it, made a million stories in our head. When they don't give us our story,
well, it's hard too when you've got such iconic characters as Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is a big personality, who is a big thing, and then you're trying to replace it with someone else.
But so was number two. Number two's guy was the same guy from Lethal Weapon and all that. Danny Glover. He was a great, like...
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And then
give us Jason Statham against
him. Have people that are more unknown.
I'm just wondering. Give us John Wick against them.
Tom Hardy. I'd like Tom Hardy in one.
Tom Hardy? Yeah.
I like Tom Hardy.
He'd be alright.
You're a man.
Maybe something like that.
A little bit.
Or the Rock.
Dwayne Johnson. I would do a kill him in the first 5 minutes scene where like you think he's going to be the hero, and just here he goes. You know, they're there and they're both big and muscly, and Predator just goes rip.
I feel like I mean, it's interesting you say The Rock, because I'm trying to think of the modern day Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it'd be more Batista. Who was from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
He's Brax.
Oh, yeah.
Drax.
I think it'd be great. I think because he's not known enough.
Yeah, he's coming up enough that it would be...
I think he's a fantastic actor too.
I reckon he'd be good.
He was, and he could play really serious, which we saw in Blade Runner 2049. He played a very serious, only small role, but it was like that real moment of like this guy that didn't want to die kind of thing.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, I really rate The Rock.
Yeah.
But I think he knows his niche is action adventure.
Oh, you go to watch a Rock movie. You don't go to watch a Predator movie featuring The Rock.
I think
featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know, in some ways, it's funny that you say that, because I feel like in some ways that's actually what they've done. To come and see the Predator movie, they've actually lost some of the... That's kind of what they've done. Come and see the Predator movie. They've kind of done that to the Predator movies.
Yeah.
So that brings us to, what would you like to see then?
So, I suppose, just bringing it back to I suppose, more of the simpler story. Like, you know, I love action movies, don't get me wrong, but having it bring back to just the simpler, it's about the predator hunting the humans. Is more what I'm looking at.
And those good characters, like sort of like the original.
Yeah, the characters in the original, you more cared about them and their story, whereas in the new ones, you didn't care about them.
No, I agree, and I think something I've brought up in other conversations is the overuse of just stereotypes, which we brought up earlier, of characters, and you don't need to overcomplicate it. Like, we had a quick touch on who they were in Predator, the first Predator movie, on the people. Like, it was really quickly, it was just like, hey, this is who these guys are, pretty much a helicopter scene.
I felt like they were really well cast to be themselves, and so you got a quick sense of the kind of people they were.
But that's all
anyway.
it was. Like, it didn't need to be pushed more. It still followed Dutch. And the other guys were just side characters taken along who were getting baited and killed. It was more about a hero character, like in, again, The Predator. You had very overcomplicated storylines about relationships, characters, everything.
Got an idea.
Alright.
Okay, are you right? Lightning just struck my brain. Like, Shmi, I had an epiphany.
All right, well, you go, and then
I think I've said mine. I might have had some more, but no, you go.
Okay. Sorry. I've just lightning struck me.
Well, just to summarise, you basically want to see another Predator movie.
Okay. Well, on that then, this might help us think of what it could be. So what if we set it in the future, and the reason we set it in the future is so that we get away from sort of being set in today, sort of put some distance that allows us to forget about the past experiences with predators, you know what I mean, and have us being a spacefaring sort of culture. So we are exploring the galaxy, and our front runner Marines are exploring a new planet. And so you've got the base ship, and sort of these Marines go down and they encounter or they come across a alien ship, and you have it that it's sort of like these big like space marine kind of guys,
like Edge of Tomorrow style
things.
Yeah.
Because that would make the humans really formidable again, and it sort of set them to like be a little bit like the original.
What I remembered I was going to talk on was the predator. He's a hunter and he's got the skills.
Exactly.
And so to see the skill and how he sets up, and he's smart, intelligent, which we don't see that as much. So
let's make it really tough for the predator. Like, let's make these guys have all the gadgets, like possibly even better weapons and all this sort of stuff, so that it's kind of like this predator has to use every one of his instincts, taking the best out of.
It would also give us a
Alien
chance.
vs Predator 2.
Yeah, but it would also give
that's
us a chance to even see potentially more tech from the predator. Like, you could have it that he gets to his ship and then gears up and comes back out. Well, it kind of actually works in the movie I want to see.
So maybe the predator has to be ingenuitive.
Yeah, use some ingenuity to.
Yeah,
totally.
yes. Instead of because in number one, the human had to be Arnold Schwarzenegger had to be he put on the mud and things like that and built the traps.
I'm sorry, but I had a really terrible moment of the predator.
But like basically like, so I don't know whether
It's
we would
almost
want the
flipped.
film. Yeah, I don't know whether you like whether that's the thing. But I imagine too, like if you really had a character you cared about, and they're like getting picked off, and you're phoning back to back, and you're killing off actual characters that you do love. So that slow burn sort of thing. And I wouldn't name it a Predator film, because you would to have that feeling again of what is actually killing them and all that. So that
try
people
and bring
go.
it back to
So then
that.
you sort of get that sense of like, this feels like a
get it
Predator
pretty
film.
quick, as we've kind of
It would
touched on.
100%
It's
work.
already had franchise artists, so that would help with that.
Because imagine the word of mouth results of that. Like if you just put it out there and the first audiences that saw it were like, oh my goodness, it's a new Predator film. Like, contact us. We'll help you write film.
Here's something I was thinking of when you're saying that. How do you want to care for the predator or the humans, right? In the first one, do you end up when the predator laughs and at the end, do you have a bit of respect for him in the way that he
100%.
does?
I think that's even showed by Dutch's not killing him with the rock. Like, just being like, wait, like, what are you? And taking that moment instead of squashing him like a bug.
Because then you see
stopping for
it's
a
more
second
about
and
the
actually
sport
having that.
and the thing.
Yeah.
You almost have a slight because it's the man versus this, but it's all about the hunting and playing off each other.
Do you think it would be cheesy? This is again that moment where lightning struck my brain, but I think lightning doesn't strike twice. I think this is actually Friday.
This might cheesy.
This one. What if we flipped it that the humans were actually like that? We don't at the beginning know. Like, we think it's a regular style Predator film, or if we haven't got a title, we don't know. But we know that they're hunting, and they're actually hunting predators.
Well, that works in with my one.
Is that cheesy, or is that...
No.
I think that might be alright.
I wanted to go something like, what I want to see is Logan, the end of Logan movie, that carnage scene where he injects himself and just goes supercharged through the forest, wiping out all the soldiers to save the kids. I want to see that, but from Predator in a desert sequence. So we've seen in AVP 2, the world is kind of desert looking and all that, like quite. And so I was like, yeah, what if they have kind of bailed out there and this is like a tribe left or whatever? And like, you have it that they're being hunted, but then you have a moment where it's like the predator goes beast mode through it, and it's like carnage.
I would like to
just
see
like,
that. I would like to
like
see
you
that.
see them
As an
start
AVP 3.
sacrificing themselves to get out of there, like, and you see it literally just go.
I'd like to see
hard.
that as an AVP 3, bringing the aliens to their home world.
Well, I wanted to see
And
it against
it'd be
humans,
literally just no humans in it.
No, I wanted to see wiping out humans. Okay. Like, literally, rather than having toy fights, get it to the point where we get to see Predator. So, like, hunting them, we see that, like, they're being strategic, and then they have to flip the switch and go beast mode head to head. And it's literally fighting to the end, and you see these, so like...
it's just brutal.
Yeah, like, it's war. Like, we see Predators go toe-to-toe against humans, and like the vulnerability
that would work in my film.
That's what I'm saying. I think we could have done it too. It would be near the end. It would be like more the.
But I don't want that. I think that
it's turned to more survival for the Predator as opposed to survival for
and like
I don't think we want to root for the. Okay, so I think that look, this.
No. I know, but like it's.
You don't want to root for them, but you want to respect them. Do you?
To a degree, and like it's been that like they change tactics. It's a 13th Warrior moment where all of a sudden the wave of things come down and attack head to head, and you see that brutality.
I think it's this moment in a film where, in my opinion, it's the Darth Maul moment where you go. So it's Darth Maul was a baddie. And stuff like that, but you were like, oh my god, that was cool. So it's like it's the moment where the good guys mount up. Like, so they've been starting to like they've been oppressed. The good guys now take the fight, and one bad guy steps it up.
Well, that's what like you have that just moment of just like,
and
like
it is
you're rooting for the weapon pops out,
and you are still rooting for the humans. But at the end of that scene, you're like, that was so cool.
Oh,
and you're really like, I don't know whether I should like that because these guys got killed, but at the same time,
Team Predator in this movie as well, and it would be
100% down for that scene. I 100%
such a phenomenal
because it's bringing respect back to Predator, which we've lost.
It's it's the last stand. It's the last stand of. So the film ends with again the one survivor of the human race, but at the end of it, they're just like, we respect. Like, you know, and he finally died, but he took out, and it was the respect moment.
You'd have the picking up the helmet and actually setting it down, and you see the shit leave.
The respect moment.
It's like the whole moment of like, okay, like you earned that one.
Yeah, okay, I'm down. I want to see that movie. So if you're out there making a film like set about the flintlock gun, just stop it now. Give us a call,
or make that movie. On a lesser budget, and give us the other,
and help us get. We'll get the LED screen all happening for our virtual production studio, and we'll make it for you.
I love it. But there you go. That was a chat about Predators in general. As we said, Disney is releasing a new one. Let us know what you guys would like to see. What one was your favorite? Especially, we all know AVP2 wasn't our favorite. So
in Predators, was there a female Predator? I think there was. Does that make her a Disney princess?
No, it wasn't never a female princess, a female Predator. There is in comic books. In comic books they made it, but they're not in the movies.
That's perfect. Yeah, that was the perfect way to end it.
But there you go, guys. Let us know in the comments what other movies you'd like us to dissect, have a chat about, all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, that's it from us. Have a great week out there, and we'll chat to you later.
This is Chris. I'm Topher Grace, and this is Dan.
Goodbye.